Whenever you're drawing clothes for your character, they should be stylish, functional, and also repeatable. So if you're having trouble because you're overcomplicating their outfits, or maybe you're not using their clothing to highlight their silhouette, this video is for you. Whenever you create your character's clothing, you need to think about the world that they're living in. For my one-shot Dragon Tooth, it was kind of an apocalyptic world where everybody was basically fending for themselves. These were the main characters of that one-shot. So if you're looking around, you can see that they have a lot of scarves, they have a lot of tears, they have an amalgamation of certain things. If you're looking at the main character, both of his shoes are different. The reason why they look like this is because, like I said, they live in some type of apocalyptic world. I probably could have pushed it a little bit more, made them look a lot more dirty, but I wasn't thinking about it back then. Knowing the world that your characters are in will help you create the clothing style that they are going to have. If this is the modern world that's set in a specific time period, looking at the clothing styles of that time period will help you. You're not going to want to draw somebody that's dressed like they're in 2025 back in 1890. If they're supposed to be inside of a world like Final Fantasy, you don't want to draw them inside of some type of Teletubby suit. You got to think about where they're at. And then once you do that, you can start to figure out exactly what's going to help with making them recognizable and standing out. So for example, if you're drawing characters that are set inside of a medieval setting, having a king and a peasant standing right next to each other, obviously their character design should be a lot different. You can tell that the peasant has been working, he has mud on his shoes, he looks kind of dirty compared to the king, who is just kind of upright, very stiff, and, a lot cleaner. These are just examples. They're not really for a particular story of mine, so they're not super detailed, but hopefully you're getting what I'm saying. So whenever you come up with those characters inside of that setting, you need to think about what they would actually wear and then try to exaggerate a few of those features so that way they can stand out a little bit more. Keep in mind that they might have a personality that is different than their position in that world. Using the peasant and the king as an example again, clearly if the peasant right here is very proud, very excited, and very happy, he's going to be, and also confident, I guess, he's going to be wearing his clothes a different way. He's going to have a different posture. He's going to look like he is exuding that type of personality. Whereas if the king is very messy and, doesn't take care of himself, it's also going to show. For example, he only has one shoe. By showing how they're wearing their clothes as opposed to what they're wearing, it actually shows more of their personality. It shows a little bit more about their body language as well. And if you've seen that previous video, then you'll know that 80% of what you're saying is not coming out of your mouth. And in this scenario, even though body language does show how you're wearing something and how you're carrying yourself, it's not about that. It's about the storytelling of it all. Clearly, these characters have a drastically different story. If you want to think about those characters and how they're wearing what they're wearing and why that actually matters, then observe real life. This is an example of two people that are very conservative in how they dress and how they carry themselves, and you can definitely tell by looking at them that they have a certain feel to them. And by looking at this, you can tell that she, maybe goes to church. Maybe she is a businesswoman. Maybe she just likes long dresses. But if I was going to draw another woman that showed a lot more skin, clearly you can tell that both of those characters have completely different ideals in how they carry themselves and how they dress. So start thinking about the psychology behind why your character is actually dressing the way they're dressing. It will drastically help you make them stand out a little bit more, as well as also lock down their personality even better. So here are some things that you can do to help you out with that. Like I said, you can observe real life. Look at your friends, see how they dress, see what their personalities are, and see if that coincides with each other. Sketch out a ton of different images of your character wearing something that maybe works better for them. If they're a detective, maybe having a detective hat makes it look really, really cool. Maybe they have a magnifying glass that's always attached to them. Put them in different settings and see if you can still get that feeling across. Let's say Detective Dan, if he was at the beach and he had shorts on, would he still look like a detective by his posture, by the way he's carrying himself? Maybe there's a design on his trunks. Who knows? So for your character, try to come up with different scenarios where you can draw your character in a way that shows their personality, even if they're in a setting that is not for their personality. Again, these are just examples. Hopefully they help you while you practice. In the next video, we're going to be talking a little bit more about consistency, so stay tuned.